Oh, welcome back to Breakfast with Bob from Kona at Huggo's on the Rocks. Thank you, Poncho Man. You are the best. My name is Bob Babbitt, brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels, right fuel, right time, HOKA, Fly Human Fly, Deboer Wetsuits, Quintana, and of course our Challenge Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, Stephen McKenna, joins us, coming off a huge win at Ironman New Zealand. How you doing, Stephen?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah.
You brought some of your posse here.
Yeah, the whole Reed Performance Group, RBG's here, because they know I'm a train wreck in interviews, so they wanted to come for a laugh.
Speaking of train wreck, talk a little bit about Tim Reed.
Yeah. We're staying together at the moment, and all he's been saying is, "You're very similar to me."
Is that what he says?
Shaking his head.
Yeah. Well, talk a little bit. How'd you get into this crazy sport? Did you start out as a swimmer, a runner, footy? What were you doing?
I ran as a junior at a national level. And
what was your distance? 1,500 or 5,000?
As long as they'd let you go with cross country and
longer,
athletics.
the better.
Yeah. With the age where whatever the longest was, I'd do. But I'd get really anxious before races, and I would pass out at nationals. I'd go well everywhere else.
Really?
But I'd be nervous for 2 weeks instead of a day or two. So by the time I got to the race, I was either completely unwell and sick, or just completely run down from the stress. So I could hardly eat the 2 days leading in.
Oh my God!
So I'd end up in the back of an ambulance most nationals, and
that's a point to find a new sport.
Exactly. So I quit, and I took up drinking and playing footy with mates as just social. So football with mates. So AFL football it was, Aussie rules.
Yes.
And then broke my leg really badly, but I had this thing about wanting to get back to running at this point. So, but that obviously with a broken leg, 13 weeks on crutches, no weight bearing, all I could do was pedal on a bike.
Right.
And swim with my feet tied together. So that's what I did, and figured out that, swimming and riding was just as fun. So yeah, it's been nearly 10 years since then.
And going from, did you start out right away as a pro? You started as an age grouper?
I did one age group race in Ballarat, which doesn't go anymore. But within 11 months I went pro, just in the first 70.3 I did.
And what race was it where you realized, okay, I could not just be a pro, but I could be a good pro?
I think before I did, I was talent identified to do cycling with the Institute of Sport, so I rode with them for 3 months, and then in the first triathlon I did was a local one, and I won it and led the swim, I thought the swim was my weakness. So then I thought, within the first race, I thought I'll throw everything into it. So I quit my job and stopped my law studies right away.
So wait, you're going to try to be a lawyer?
I've got 2 subjects left, just to get the degree. I
Yes.
don't want to be a lawyer. I've come too far. Same with this sport. I've come too far. I've got to keep going now.
Yeah. And so what was your, like you said, in running, the longer it was, the better. And you found the same thing in triathlon, the longer it is, the better?
Oh, I think with triathlon, maybe, Reedy's been a coach of mine, maybe 5 years he was my coach.
Yeah.
So he probably thinks, based on all the numbers and the training, I could have done really well at shorter stuff, but I like the longer stuff a lot more. I like to suffer moderately for a long time, and I don't the level of hurt, I feel like I could push myself into the back of an ambulance again too often. So
has this sport been different in terms of the stress that you were dealing with before, where you were collapsing and passing out?
Yeah, I think the 3 or 4 years away from sport and just having fun with mates, there was a lot of perspective gained.
Yes.
I would, as a kid, sleep in my sneakers ready for a run in the morning. I was just obsessed, and it was everything. And I realised it's not everything eventually. So yeah, I've never had an issue with, to be honest, in my first few triathlons I passed out, but
during the race?
Yeah, my first attempt at 70.3.
Yeah.
I was 7K left in my first attempt, which was 5 months into, and I was beating half the pros, coming 10th overall at Geelong, and then passed out with I think 7K to go, and didn't get the pro license, so I had to do another one.
Oh my God. And so where did this nickname Lizard come from?
Well, I just got really skinny doing this sport, and my mates, we were just having a few beers out back, and then like these guys, everyone takes the piss out of me a lot, and
it's probably a lot of fun, I guess.
Just surprisingly, I enjoy it too. But I just got really skinny, and they just started coming up with what I looked like at the time, and Apparently I look like a lizard, and then there's an R-rated version of the story where I do something in particular with my partner, but we can't mention it on. So it involves flies
An X-rated
and
lizard type of thing. Yeah, there you go. I like that. I like that. So Ironman Western Australia, you've had some good success there, right? Second. What'd you get? Did you go there this year? I don't know if you did that this year. Fourth.
Last year, last year when I came fourth, it was the worst Ironman result I've had out of like 8.
Okay.
So I had always come first or second in the first 6 Ironman distances I did.
Yeah.
And then started this business called Nerd Belts, and it's kind of and we've got 2 kids now, and so life got really busy in the last 18 months. So I've become more inconsistent, I'd say. But yeah, again. Not to talk about Reedy too much, but a few people like him and my sister, Jess, and another mate are coming on to help. So, yeah, I'm going to be back into less stressed human with, a lot more time to train and recover by next year.
So when you won New Zealand, and when you went to Australia, your wife was about to have a baby?
Yeah, so my number one goal this year was to be there for the baby's birth and have a good 6 weeks of no training, and I just know that this sport's going to take a lot. There's a lot of sacrifices,
yes,
so
there are.
I just refused to let it be a sacrifice like it was with the firstborn. So yeah, I mean, I told a few people at the start of the year my number one goal is the baby and being present and not letting this year be about triathlon. And then so I did New Zealand. That's why I did such an early race.
Yes.
I put a lot into it, thinking it could be my last race for a while. And then, just couldn't help myself. We did an all-nighter with the birth. And then 4 days later, I just thought, whatever, I'll go.
What the hell? I'm here.
I'll go. Yeah. And I shouldn't have gone.
Well, but that's how... Well, what? You got 5th. It's not like it was awful.
No, it wasn't awful. It's just you just can't expect to, because the whole training block, I was like, I'm not sure if I'll be able to race. The birth might clash.
Right.
So it wasn't like a full commitment. And then you're just not really caring as much.
Right.
Because the baby was everything, and then I was, basically got halfway through the marathon in a lot of pain and just thought, why am I here? So.
But you still finished 5th.
Yeah, and I had a really good break after that. Happy times. Really happy to see Sam Appleton from our group win it too. That was it was a great trip. And then I rushed home, enjoyed 6 weeks off, and very unfit when I started, but the break did me good, and I came second at the Townsville World Champs.
Yeah, World Triathlon.
Someone who might go well here, Antonio. So built from there, and it'll be only 5 races this year, but next year I'll get back into the Pro Series, I reckon.
What is it about this sport that obviously in other sports you've done, you get way, way too stressed out, but there's something about this sport that's just different?
Oh, I think for me mostly, like I used to get really nervous the day before a triathlon, mostly for the swim, but now that I think it usually works itself out even if I have a bad swim.
Yeah.
I can chill out on that. But yeah, I think because there's just too many elements to the race, it's too long to overthink it. Whereas running was like, and it's just not everything to me. Like there's other things going on, which is great. But I just had nothing going on as a kid. So it was just, I was so nervous. So I've realized now that no one cares how I go, really. Yeah. And I don't even care a week later once it's gone. So yeah, that's a nice feeling.
There was a great U.S. marathoner named Ryan Hall. He ran 2:04:58 marathon in Boston, and he was saying really nervous as a kid. His dad would always say to him, "Ryan, nobody in China gives a crap what happens here today." Yeah. And he said it really made me relaxed until he told me that the day before the Beijing Olympics in China, and everybody's caring. There's 2 billion people watching, so all of a sudden the nervousness came back again. But it's crazy.
I think also running, I don't know if it was who I was against when I was young, but there was a lot of mind games, and and it was like, I don't know, in triathlon, all I'll say is like the pros all get along in long course. It's less, it's not, because it's such a long day, we all just want to survive. So everyone seems to train together and support each other. Yeah. So I've got not really anyone I dislike in this sport that I really want to...
Except for Tim Reed.
Yeah.
No, but that what's great about the sport, it's really out there. It's you against you. It's you against the course. When you're doing the Olympic format and the drafting, so then mind games can become part of it.
I do think so, yeah. That there was a lot of competitiveness in my short 6 months in ITU.
Yes.
In every training session, and I can't put up with that. It's just too tiring day in, day out.
So does the season end here? Or do you go on and do 70.3 Worlds? What do you do next?
I really want to do Bustleton and 70.3 Worlds, but it's I've got this business, and it was a one-man show for 6 months. I underestimated what it would take to run it, and then I got some help, and I'm going to get more help. But it's just like I'll have my 2 weeks off, and if I get a lot done in that time, I can push it. But I've got a lot of my partner wants to. She's stepping over nerd belt boxes and bikes, and I'm not optimistic, but yeah, we'll see. Hopefully she's not listening, because she says it's definitely off the table.
The nice thing is the balance that comes from having a business, right? You're doing a business and you're training, so you're committed to both, but it's not like you're killing yourself, right? You can back off and switch gears.
Yeah, I think when it's something I care about in the last 18 months, it's kind of been it's been like train all day and then work till 10 or 11 at night,
right?
Maybe work early before training, so and not much sleep with the birth of the baby, so it's been tough, but it's long term, it's very much worth it. We've set something up, and I'm always going to have something on the side to do, but it just won't be as intense as it's been in the last period where it's full time.
Well, when you're racing, if you have to go to starting line thinking, I need to make my mortgage, I need to make it.
You're right.
You're taking the pressure off.
The pressure is off. Yeah,
and then you can do it because you love it.
That's it. And I've talked to Lauren a lot in the last year when things have been slightly tough, and I've got good advice from people here that say never make a decision in the first 6 months of your baby's birth. So we didn't, but we nearly did. But yeah, kind of like if I'm the minute I'm not having fun, I'm going to retire. Right. And that would be an early retirement if it happened now, but I'm having a lot of fun with that in the back of my mind. It's pretty liberating. So I just make sure it's fun, because I do want to do this sport.
So is first time you're racing here?
It is, yes. Yep. Yeah, 2 years ago, qualified and just didn't think I was ready. But I wish I went and just learnt a few things. But yeah, and then Nice, didn't think I was ready last year. Right. So I didn't go. Just the course, I don't think it suits me.
Yeah, 8,000 feet of climbing and the descending and all that stuff.
Yeah. Learning how to ride a bike in 2015. I've just slowly got the skills, but you've still got it in the back of your mind that you haven't rode a bike your whole life. So I've got to go there and be on that course for a good 3 months.
You have to spend a lot of time on that course to be ready. So what are your goals here?
The standard goal of top 10 would be nice, but I think on a good day it's probably where I'm at. I can't pretend that I've done the 30-35 hours that the absolute top guys have, but yeah, I'm excited to get there next year slowly. Don't have to do that many hours, but just the recovery might allow it eventually. I'm not going to push it, but if it allows it, so top 10 would be awesome. But a good race for me if everyone has an amazing day. Hate to say it, but I'd like to just break even on the trip.
Exactly.
So I don't really care the position. Just give me some money.
Just get some money. If I get some money, I'm golden. Yeah. I love that. Poncho Man, take us out, buddy.
Under the boardwalk, down by the sea, having breakfast with Bob, that's where I'll be.
Poncho Man, everybody. Good luck.